This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. A Sunday afternoon, a day game at Busch, and the Cardinals trying to avoid a sweep. Game 3, the Pittsburgh Pirates and the St. Louis Cardinals. Welcome to the broadcast booth at Busch Stadium with Rick Horton. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes is with us as well. And the Cardinals, Ricky, have to solve the puzzle that is the Pirates winning here at Busch Stadium.
Cardinals have played well in Pittsburgh against the Pirates, but not in St. Louis. And this is a Pirate team, Dan, that has not played well on the road this year, but look at the record. 5-3 against the Cardinals. They've had the big hits, 10 home runs. Here at Busch Stadium, they've just found ways to win.
So they're 5-3 here at Busch Stadium, but they'll face Adam Wainwright today. And the last time that he faced the Pirates, August 11th at PNC, and one of the best starts of the year.
He was terrific, and how many times are we going to call on Adam Wainwright to change the direction? Cardinals losing the first 2 games of this series are going to rely on the veteran Wainwright one more time.
So Waino went 88 pitches and the distance last time that he faced the Buccos. Swinging a hot bat, Cardinals first baseman Paul Goldschmidt. He'll bat second in the lineup today. Scott Borman, Brad Thompson. A closer look at Goldie coming up on Bally Sports.
Pitching excellence in both 1968 and 1970. Gibby was a member of 3 Cardinals World Series teams, winning the title in both 1964 and 1967. Today we are here to remember Bob Gibson as one of the most revered members of the St. Louis Cardinals organization and one of the very best to ever wear the birds on the bat. Bob Gibson was arguably one of the best athletes and among the fiercest competitors to ever play in the game of baseball. His record-setting 17 strikeout World Series game in 1968 are a trademark of his ability to pitch at such a high level when the Cardinals were playing on the game's biggest stages. Even during the time of his recent illness, Bob remained a strong supporter of the team and remained in contact with members of the organization and several of our players. Bob will be deeply missed and forever remembered.
It's a game in which we honor number 45 today, the great Bob Gibson. Bob Gibson Day here at Busch Stadium. At the top of the St. Louis lineup, Tommy Edman swinging a hot bat.
Bob Gibson would love to have been Tommy Edman's teammate, just his kind of player. A hard-nosed player, 13 straight games. He's reached base safely, and Tommy is riding a 9-game hitting streak today. He's doing exactly what the table setter is supposed to do.
So Tommy Edman at the top of the lineup for St. Louis. The Pirates shut out the Cardinals in Game 1. They found a way in Game 2. Sets the stage for Game 3. St. Louis looking to avoid a sweep when we come back. St. Louis Cardinals baseball on Bally Sports Midwest, brought to you by Budweiser, this Bud's for you. And by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. The 45 behind second base, and also in red behind the pitching rubber on the mound here in St. Louis. To honor the great Bob Gibson, it's the Pirates and the Cardinals today on Bally Sports Midwest. Warm afternoon, 87 degrees. Very touching moment. But 5 minutes ago, Wendy Gibson, Bob's wife, taken on the track by the convertible, acknowledging the crowd. Very emotional moment for her. Bob's son, Chris, throwing out the ceremonial first pitch to his longtime battery mate and great friend, Tim McCarver.
Moments like this help you remember that with all the talk that we have about hits and runs and stolen bases and launch angle, it's a game that produces meaningful emotions and wonderful moments. And we just had one here just moments ago, celebrating the terrific career life legacy of number 45, Bob Gibson. And to see his son wearing the Gibson jersey on the mound with that cap pulled down over his forehead, just really an eerie kind of moment for, I'm sure, a lot of fans here at the ballpark, but a special one.
Paul Goldschmidt at first base today, and Adam Wainwright is on the mound for St. Louis. The Cardinals have won 10 of his last 13 starts, 5-2 in his start since the All-Star break, and obviously they need him to be Waino today.
Yeah, you need Waino a lot. We've needed him every fifth day. It's incredible how many times that's happened. And Adam has been consistent. Here's his Hyundai pitch arsenal. But what is beyond the numbers of his velocity is the consistency of the velocity and the mechanics of number 50 this year. He has been really just right on time every day. It doesn't mean the stuff is equal each time out. It never is for any pitcher, but he has not really had a big blip. He's just been consistently Adam Wainwright every fifth day.
So Wainwright goes today, and the lineup for the Pirates, Yoshi Tsutsugo at the top. He has homered in a couple of games of this series. Brian Hayes had a key hit last night with 2 outs and drove in 2. Brian Reynolds, the All-Star. Colin Moran, he's been a thorn in the Cardinals side this season. Gregory Polanco had 2 sac flies in game 1. Kevin Newman, a home run in this series. Michael Perez behind the plate. Boy Park, versatile player. He's at second today. Stephen Brault is on the mound and batting ninth. Cardinals with the loss last night. The Padres win. They come back late on a Jake Cronenworth home run, and they win their ball game. So they're now 68-57, tied with Cincinnati, and the Cardinals 4.5 games out.
They're the 2 teams you're chasing, both the Padres and the Reds, for the playoffs. And 4.5 seems like a big number, but it wasn't that long ago that the Cardinals were 8 games out in the wild card. So it can be done. You can certainly have enough time to get it done, but you have to play 600 or above baseball the rest of the way.
Tsutsugo looks at a strike. We're underway. Homered in back-to-back games, first time in his career. And for the 5 hits he's had since joining Pittsburgh, they've gone for extra base hits, pair of home runs, a double, and a grounder that's yanked foul, and it's 0-2.
7 left-handed bats in the Pirates lineup today, and the reason teams do that against Adam Wainwright is they try to negate his curveball. And Adam, of course, is not afraid to throw the curveball to left-handers either, but the assumption is that right-handers really can't hit it because it starts out behind them.
And the 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, and that's how we start the ball game. A strikeout of Tsutsugo, and the first strikeout for Adam Wainwright.
Well, I guess we called for the curveball there, and Waino got the sign, and he went ahead and threw it to the left-hander. And this is the downward bite. Uncle Charlie, incredible vertical break on the curveball of Adam Wainwright. That has been a consistent pitcher, and very rarely do you see Wainwright not have command of that pitch. He throws it for strikes an awful lot.
And a strike 2, Brian Hayes. Third baseman hitting .248, 5 home runs, and he's driven in 27 in 69 games. Dealt with injuries this year, in particular, beginning of the season, and it's a ball and a strike. The Cardinals trying to avoid their first 3-game series sweep at home against Pittsburgh since May 27th through the 29th of 1991. Cardinals had Ozzie, the Pirates had Barry Bonds, and the list goes on and on, but it has been a long time. Here's a 1-2 pitch to Hayes. Take it high. It's going to be interesting, too, to see the adjustments both sides make. Wainwright and the Pirates lineup from the last time that they saw Adam Wainwright. 88 pitches, went the distance. The 2-2 outside in the dirt. Full count.
Well, what they need to do is ask Colin Moran how he hit him. Only 2 hits in the game, and Moran had both of them.
One of those off the glove of Wainwright wound up being an infield hit. 3-2 pitch. Popped foul and out of play.
Got away with a pitch there. Middle of the plate cutter that just sat there, and that's the type pitch that gets you in trouble. And honestly, the one pitch or the one defensive play has been a bit of the story of this homestand. The Cardinals played fairly well in several games that they've lost, but that one bad moment, that one bad defensive play, or the one bad inning for a pitcher has done him in.
A strikeout, back-to-back Ks for Adam Wainwright. Cardinals defense, O'Neill, Bader, Nootbaar in the outfield. Round the horn presented by Dobbs. Arenado. There you see Sosa. He's at short. Back-to-back starts for him. Edman at second. Goldie at first. Yadier Molina behind the plate. Switch hitting Brian Reynolds.
And more, Dan, on that one bad play or one bad moment. If you're scoring 8 or 9 runs a game, it doesn't matter. You can cover up a defensive miscue, and it's not as glaring. You might not even remember it. But the Cardinals have only scored 4 runs in 2 games against a Pirates staff that has the second highest ERA in the National League.
4 runs on 20 hits through 2 games. Just could not get momentum in game 1. Came up short last night. Misplays, as you mentioned, have been a storyline in this series. Bader had one in the first game, and last night Nootbaar, and that cost St. Louis. A shift on the right side of the infield. Arenado well off the line at third. Breaking ball outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Outfield straight away. The 2-1 pitch fouled back.
The more you watch Reynolds, the more you know this guy can play.
Yep.
Good defender. He's not really overwhelmed by anybody's stuff. He can turn on a fastball. He's a good off-speed hitter. Really kind of does it all, and a switch hitter.
Playing center field every day for the Pirates, although he came off the bench in the last series and hit a home run at PNC. Lifts a high fly ball to Lars Nootbaar in right. 1, 2, 3 go the Pirates. And the top of the lineup coming up in the home half of the first. Tommy Edman, Paul Goldschmidt, Tyler O'Neill moving up to third. A change in the lineup when we come back. Tommy Edman, Paul Goldschmidt moving up. Tyler O'Neill to third. Arenado batting cleanup. Then Molina, Nootbaar, Sosa, Bader, Wainwright. The lineup for Mike Schilt shaking it up a bit as they'll face the lefty Stephen Brault.
One of the guys that I missed yesterday with the Hall of Fame celebration. You miss a lot of guys, but I miss Bob Porsche. I think he would have loved to have been there for Tom Hurd, John Tudor, and I feel that they feel the same way about it. They would love for Bob to have been there. One of the things Bob used to say all the time, let's do something different even if it's wrong. And that's what I feel about the lineup change. It's like, well, it's not going to hurt. I mean, sometimes you just have to shake it up.
There was a look at the Hyundai pitch arsenal for the lefty. Brault missed most of the season. Left lat strain, returned in early August. He's made 3 starts, and the first pitch is strike to Edman. He's on a 9-game hitting streak.
And he's been pretty sharp in those 3 starts, too. And he was very sharp when the Cardinals saw him in September last year.
0-2. Against St. Louis, 13 games, 6 starts, and he's 1-3.
Yeah, and that one start in September was a complete game victory. And you wonder if he maybe threw too many pitches in that game.
The 0-2. 3 pitches struck him out, and that's how we start the afternoon offensively for the Cardinals.
Sweeping breaking ball from Brault. Wainwright's goes more vertical. This one more like a slider. It has the vertical break, but it also has the horizontal break.
10-game hitting streak for Paul Goldschmidt. 415 the average during those 10 games. Takes a pitch low. Reached base safely in 16 of 18 this month. 10 multi-hit games this month. And including today, 9 games left. The 1-0 pitch.
Brault also my favorite national anthem singer in uniform ever. And I believe the only one. But he was really good. We had him in Pittsburgh a couple of years ago, and he was phenomenal.
He's part of a band, sings, plays instruments. 2-1 pitch. Out of play, 2-2. Multi-talented. He can throw 95 and sing an anthem. Sixth time in the career of Paul Goldschmidt, a month in which he's had 10 or more multi-hit games. Fouled back.
And you might think a young guy, he's left-handed, he's all tatted up, maybe kind of like a, an alternative guy or a hard rocker, but he actually enjoys singing classics,
right,
and show tunes. The classic show tunes, and has recorded several albums with those type songs.
That's off the bag and a fair ball. Into shallow left it goes. Goldschmidt thinking 2 and standing up with a double right off the bag. Fair ball and a 1-out double for Paul Goldschmidt.
Well, they call doubles 2 baggers, but he hit the third base bag first on his way to getting a 2-bagger. How many balls did the Cardinals hit just foul yesterday that might have made a difference?
A bunch.
No doubt. And so you hope maybe that's a sign of better fortunes ahead here today.
Tyler O'Neill, one of 6 players in the National League. 20 or more home runs, 10 or more stolen bases already this season. There's only 6. Really a who's who, too. Tatis, Baez, Harper, Machado, Albies, and Tyler O'Neill. The 1-0 in the air down the right field line. It's slicing foul. Nice crowd on hand for this Sunday afternoon. There's no doubt crowds have been down. It's been well documented. Season ticket holders had the option to opt out this year. That young man gets a souvenir. Could not sell the group leader stuff because of the restrictions to begin the season. Team had a tough June. That plays into it.
And so many fans come to Busch Stadium from outside of the Missouri area or the Southern Illinois area, and a high percentage of fans. And I think the uncertainty about taking a trip and in the midst of the COVID recovery, I think that's certainly changed. And of course they're welcome to come, and we'd love to have them be here for the rest of the season, but it's understandable that families have gotten backed up with a lot of things and haven't been able to be here. But it's almost unique to the Cardinals in the sense that so many fans have been group tickets and corporate sponsors and people from out of town that Cardinals are feeling it a little more than some other teams.
The interesting part is that the Cardinals, when they went to full capacity, they still are in the top, I think, 5 or 6 in tickets sold. So it's not like it's foreign to what's happening here in St. Louis.
Right.
But baseball is feeling it as well. The 3-1 pitch and a walk. Runners at first and second. First walk by Brault, and it brings in Nolan Arenado.
Danny, if you had to pitch, and I feel like I've seen you pitch at fantasy camp. I can't remember. I know I've seen you hit. I know I've seen you hit line drives all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
If you had to pitch to either Goldschmidt, O'Neill, or Arenado, who would intimidate you the most?
I think the guy at the plate.
I think so, too.
Even though I think he presses at times at home. I do think that, trying to impress the fan base, the big trade, that kind of thing. He's 3 for 22 right now in the homestand. But I do see him press at home at times.
I think you're right. But I still wouldn't want to pitch to him.
No.
The guy of those 3 that I'd least like to drill in the ribs is the guy that just walked.
Well, let's Let's advance the story. If he's going to charge the mound, yes.
Well, and the worst part of that is he'll get there really fast, too.
That's a good point.
I've nowhere to run, nowhere to hide.
Not sure you're going to stop him either. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Nolan Arenado.
I was never charged, but almost had a guy come after me after Terry Pendleton told him to charge me.
Really?
He was running by. He was calling me, well, some names, running right past me. And Terry said, there he is. Go get him.
Who was it?
It was Larry Boa.
Fired up Larry Boa.
Yeah, and I kind of contributed to that.
Did you?
Yeah, oh yeah.
So you got him out, and then you let him know about it.
Well, after getting him out after throwing one inside, way inside. Way inside. Got away.
It happens. That's the game. Oh, Mr. Nice Guy over here let a few get away, did he?
Of course, you have to let a few get away. Yeah. And I would say even more so when you throw 84 miles an hour.
You just back him off the plate.
Although with the protective guard now, I mean, that wouldn't bother them one bit. They're not going anywhere. They don't go anywhere on 95 inside.
No.
So it doesn't really serve the same purpose.
Here comes something, and it's going to be hit hard. He's due. The 2-1 pitch to Nolan Arenado. Arenado with a high fly ball. Out to left, backing up Tsutsugo. And runners back to second and first. So at first, Colin Moran. They got Park at second, Newman at short, Hayes at third. Perez takes over behind the plate. Stallings had been beat up and busy in the first couple of games. Around the horn presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Tsutsugo, Reynolds, Polanco in the outfield.
You almost had a very prescient moment there.
Almost.
But if you almost have a prescient moment, then it's really just a moment.
It's just a moment. No big deal.
Just an average.
Yeah, no big deal.
Run-of-the-mill moment is what you had.
Thanks a lot.
But he almost hit that one. No doubt. Just got under it. I thought for a second that he got it.
Molina has been outstanding in these spots. 2 outs, runners in scoring position. 341 the average. Couple of doubles, home run, 21 of his 50 driven in. Rick Horton's Toyota key to the game.
And let's hope this is prescient, is hits with damage. That's what the Cardinals need today. And I don't mean breaking windows or breaking signs as they've done before, but I'm talking about scoring runs, gappers with guys on base, and have a much better ratio of runs and hits.
Hit down the right field line, foul.
The stat you said, Dan, 4 runs on 20 hits. The thing that screams out from that is not a lot of hits with damage.
Yeah. The extra base hits, the home runs, things of that nature. A lot of singles have been hit in this series. Cardinals 2 for 15 with runners in scoring position in the series, and they have left 21 on. Inning started with a strikeout. Goldie the double off the bag at third. O'Neill walked. Arenado flied out. Pitch number 23 of the first inning for Steven Brault. Ground ball left side. Base hit. Sneaks on through. Yachty comes through. 1-0 Cardinals here in the first on a 2-out RBI base hit, scoring Goldie. Just past Hayes, just past Newman, trying to knock it down on the infield, and it gets through.
So it is a single, but it does do some damage as Yachty comes through with 2 outs. Got a breaking pitch in the middle of the plate. Hit it hard on the ground. Two pretty good fielders on the left side for Pittsburgh, and they couldn't get it. Infielders are taught to dive and keep it in the infield at all costs. And Hayes and the shortstop, Newman, both gave it a great effort.
It's the 200th time that Yadi has had a go-ahead RBI. Now Lars Nootbaar, runners at first and second. Inside, ball one. Last 9 games, 9 hits, double, 3 home runs, has driven in 5.
And what a testament to his ability to stand in against lefties that he's getting a start today and not Dean or Rondon. You've got other right-handers to choose from, but this is your guy.
You'd have to assume they like the at-bats that they saw last night, which included a screamer hit to third. Hayes on a shift made a great play. The third baseman took a hit away.
He did have a short moment of struggling defensively, but I think for the most part he's been good defensively.
The 2-0. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Like his arm. I like his hustle. And you can't have enough players who hustle playing on the day where you honor Bob Gibson.
No truer statement there. The 2-1. I missed the text messages I would get all the time in a game from Bob Gibson.
They played the video of his Hall of Fame speech, or at least an excerpt of it, where he said that no one could have accused me of having cheated them out of what they paid to see.
I love that.
He had preceded that by saying, look, I didn't always pitch well, which most of the time he did, but it wasn't going to be for not competing.
Nootbaar puts it on the ground, charging. Boyd Parkin makes the play. Cardinals strand a pair, but a 2-out base hit, RBI. Yadier Molina, 1-0. When there's been reports in talks around this homestand that Yadier Molina may get a contract extension, Jim Hayes, do you have more on that?
Yeah, that's the big question. Are they discussing extension with Yadi? I asked John Mozeliak about it earlier today. He would not confirm those reports, but he did say Yadi's an iconic figure in this organization, and he's been one for years. We certainly want to make sure if there's a way to get him back, we should do it. I understand his importance, and hopefully there's a way to make it work. As for Waino's future, Mozeliak said at some point in the near future, I'll sit down with him and see what he wants to do. But, Danny, some big decisions ahead for the Cardinals.
Iconic players, Adam Wainwright, Yadier Molina. What's your gut tell you?
That they'll both be back. That's my gut.
I'm actually leaning on one coming back for sure. He's behind the plate, and I'm undecided with the guy on the mound.
Yeah.
Now it'll be his decision as to whether or not he wants to come back. But if the family pulls him, he may not. Who knows? Wainwright, Molina, most starts together, 298. 2 more to get to that elusive 300. May never see that again either.
I have a unique perspective on the family pull question because I, as a minor leaguer, retired, and I did it for 24 hours because I thought this was on the way down, because I thought that was what my family wanted, and I came home and I was miserable, and I realized that within a week I was going to be blaming for them for something that they didn't do, and I realized, wait, I can't stop playing the game that I love to play for them right now. They'll be fine. And I called back Johnny Gorel, who was the minor league director for the Cleveland Indians at the time, and he said, sure, we'd love to have you back. I was hoping you'd call.
And you were back.
And I was back. Still couldn't get anybody out, but I was back. And then at the end of that year, I mean, it was just another couple of months, then I realized
it was time.
It was time.
Yeah.
But it was on my time, and I think there's an important thing to that for players. Not that you, I know that sounds selfish, but it isn't fully selfish, because you are demonstrating something about work ethic and determination and things to your kids that will hopefully be a lesson for them. And you're not holding something against them.
Right.
That really would have been inappropriate.
Moran hitting .361 against the Cardinals this year. The 2-2 pitch, and he strikes out. So Wainwright has struck out 3 of the first 4.
Boy, is he sharp.
You know, Waino said to me a few weeks ago, we were talking about if it was the end in San Diego. It's kind of a famous start for me in his Cardinals career. He's topping out at 80, 82. And I thought at that time that may be it. And he told me that he was throwing with Dominic Leone at the time, who was trying to come back from an injury of his own. And all of a sudden his arm bounced back. And he said that would have been tough at that point if it was over, because his body wouldn't allow him to do it. And he said, now if I step away now, I'm leaving on my terms. And to get more years in terms of being not only healthy enough to do it, but very good at it, is a big difference. 1 ball, 1 strike. And a lot of players will tell you they're going to stay in the game until they pull the jersey off of me and there's no other spot I can play.
And you have more of them than the other kind. And I think it's still a kid's game that you get to do for a living. It's a great job to have.
Trying to bunt against Waino here, and a base hit for Polanco. The shift was there, got it past Waino. Arenado, do or die, comes up short.
Pirates must have had some bunting drills in the last week, because they're bunting like crazy in this series. And where Arenado is playing, he's not going to be able to get the right angle. He's trying to set the angle there, but no chance to get Polanco.
Now Newman, who is homered in this series, 6 extra base hits since last weekend. 10 for his last 24. He's showing bunt.
So the question, Dan, just to finish that thought on Wainwright, is it's going to be on his terms, but the term is going to be, does he have the fire to do it? To start November 15th, whatever happens in October or doesn't for the Cardinals, to start on November 1st or 15th, working out, lifting, cardio, training, stretching, all the work that it takes to get ready for spring training.
Broken bat, slowly hit, and Sosa will get the sure out at first base. Polanco to second. MLB Ballpark app completes your next visit to Busch Stadium. Buy and manage game tickets, redeem offers, access exclusive content, and much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today. That was the 17th bunt base hit this year for the Pirates, and the first for Gregory Polanco. They actually lead the majors in that category.
Their hitting coach, Rick Eckstein.
Yeah.
Coached some with the Cardinals, as did Bob Gibson, by the way. Imagine Bob Gibson as your pitching coach.
What was he? I think it was Joe Torre said he was actually the attitude adjustment coach, labeled as the pitching coach. Had him in Atlanta when they were down there. 2 outs, runner at second, and the 1-0 pitch to Michael Perez. Curveball. 1-1. Pirates 2 for 9 with runners in scoring position in the series. They've left 10 on. Shift on the right side. Fastball taken low. All kinds of room on the left side of the infield. Outfield not very deep.
Watching Yachty go through those signs with Adam Wainwright, Just makes me wonder if they really need to even have signs. They've worked together so many times. Just, I'm ready. Just, I'll set up somewhere. You'll know what I mean, and I'll know what you mean, and we'll be on the same page, and you just throw it, and I'll catch it. If any two people could do it, it's these two.
I asked Waino the other day, how often does he shake off Molina? And he says more than you would think, even though we're on the same page a lot. He said the bottom line, I have to, with every pitch, have conviction in what I want to throw. So more so it's a suggestion put down by Molina.
Way it should be.
3-1 pitch. Now 3-2.
And what's confusing about that is you say, well, you know, Wainwright wants to throw a curveball and Yadi gave him a fastball. Well, both of them could be thinking both would work. So it's not as if the other choice is a bad choice. There may be two good choices, maybe three. And especially if you're pitching well, you're confident in a lot of choices. But if you're the pitcher and you're more confident with one pitch in particular, you got to go with it.
Slow roller up the first base line. Waino takes it himself, and the Pirates strand a runner. Sosa, Bader, Wainwright coming up, and it's 1-0 midway through 2. Back at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Now time for a Kia player profile, brought to you by your local Kia dealers. Edmundo Sosa, we talked about it last night. He's played very well at Busch Stadium this year. In his starts at home, hitting .366, 7 extra base hits. He's driven in 7, scored 16.
And the Cardinals have won a lot of those games as well. And we've seen a lot of intangibles from Edmundo Sosa that won't show up on any stat sheet. It's not just his hitting or his fielding or errors, etc., stolen bases. He just does a lot of smart baseball things. And for a young player, and I said this the other day, Dan, I think the development people in the Cardinals organization should pat themselves on the back for getting this guy ready to be a smart big leaguer.
Took a while, but here he is.
Well, when we first saw him, you could knock the bat out of his hand.
The 0-1 pitch, 0-2. Miguel Cabrera has become the 28th player in history to hit 500 home runs. On the ground to short. Slugger of Detroit with number 500. Also the 5th player in the last 75 seasons. 500 home runs and a career 300 average. He's at 311.
There was a long period of time where Albert Pujols was the best player in the National League and Cabrera was the best player in the American League. And those two were on a different stratosphere than everybody else.
Agreed. Hank Aaron, Mays, Manny Ramirez, Frank Thomas, Miguel Cabrera, 500 home runs and a better than 300 average. That's it. Albert Pujols will be in St. Louis coming up in September. 4-game series with the Dodgers.
Cardinals.com. Get tickets for that series. It's going to be terrific. It's going to be fun.
Dodgers are loaded, and Albert has been really good against left-handed pitching. Hit another home run in their ball game yesterday. 1-2.
I think as time goes on, we'll begin to appreciate more and more what the MV3 were all about that one particular year.
Bader with a fly ball. Carries to Polanco in right. 2 away.
The production of Albert Pujols, but also Scott Rowland and Jim Edmonds. I mean, that was just a phenomenal middle of the lineup.
Nice round of applause for Adam Wainwright.
Scott Rowland told me this morning that he really appreciated yesterday. And he said he's typically kind of not a social guy, as we all know, for being around him.
Wainwright pulls it fair inside the third base line. 2-out double, Adam Wainwright.
The best way to get Adam Wainwright to play another season is have his career average at 199 at the end of this year, because he'll want to come back and fix that. That's one thing he definitely takes pride in, is his hitting. Teammates appreciate the effort of Adam Wainwright. He's also been a Gold Glove fielder. But I know he wants to end his career hitting 200. Now, of course, if we have the DH, that'll throw a damper on that plan.
6 of his last 10 hits against the Pirates have been doubles. That includes the double that he had in his last start on August 11th against Pittsburgh, as Tommy Edman taps it foul back to the top of the lineup. Edman 5 for 13, a home run against this lefty. Matter of fact, Adam had a RBI base hit in that ball game too. Single up the middle that scored a run. Cardinals have a 2-out single to left by Yadier Molina that scored Paul Goldschmidt back in the first. 1-0, the difference in the game. The 0-1. A ball and a strike. Tommy struck out swinging first time up. Number 45 behind him, and you won't see 50 probably issued after that guy's done either. Wouldn't think. Number 4 will not be issued again. Number 5 will not be issued again.
And pretty soon the Cardinals will be like the Yankees. They'll be running out of numbers.
Yeah. Got to wonder if 51 will be ever issued again. The 2-1 pitch. Edman to short. Newman makes the play. Cardinals strand a runner, their third through 2 innings. We head to the third. 1-0. American military personnel serving overseas watching this game on AFN, the American Forces Network. Welcome to those in countries around the world aboard naval ships at sea. And thank you so very much for your service to our country. 1982, this date in Cardinals history. Brummer stealing home. Mike Shannon with the call. 46,000 plus on hand. A 5-4 win, 12 innings over the Giants. Brummer didn't play very often. Led off the 12th with a single. Hadn't had a hit in over a month. And newly inducted Hall of Famer Keith Hernandez said, quote, "I thought I had seen it all. I have not seen it all."
Well, you're not going to see that again, I wouldn't think, because it was Brummer, the catcher, a backup catcher, not known for his speed, stealing home with 2 strikes on the batter, which you can't do that because the batter has to protect the plate. That was David Green, who, by the way, could hit the ball extremely hard when he made contact. So he just risked his life to steal home. And the Giants contend to this day. All the guys involved in that play contend to this day that the pitch was a strike, and the batter Green should have been out anyway.
Whitey would say, I did an evening with the Cardinals, and I asked him about that play. He said, well, Brummer would only play if I ran out of players. And he played in that game because Dane Orge became a father for the 5th time and spent the day at the hospital. So it was Glenn Brummer who got that shot. And a famous play in Cardinals history.
There's always something behind the scenes, isn't there?
Yeah. I'll be with Teddy Simmons and Tim McCarver tomorrow for our evening with the Cardinals here at the ballpark. Looking forward to that. Hoy Park to lead it off up the middle. There's Sosa, and he makes a play. Brings in Stephen Brolt with Tsutsugo to follow.
One of my favorite things about the Cardinal Hall of Fame Day is it makes you think of moments in the ceremony. Think of games and players and people, and some of those people were recognized yesterday by John Tudor and Keith and Tommy Herr, and it reminded me of my youth. Some of my favorite players were not necessarily the big 5 players, and of course we have a lot of Cardinal fans that love Yadier Molina and Adam Wainwright, but there are people that their favorite player is Tommy Edman, or maybe their favorite player is Giovanni Gallegos. And so it's a reminder to me, and Glenn Brummer would be that kind of person where I run into people and they say, oh, I love Glenn Brummer. I just love Glenn Brummer. And so you're part of a bigger family than just the Hall of Famers, and I think that day brings out some of those stories to me.
Whitey said it violates most, if not all, unwritten rules of baseball to have Glenn Brummer steal home on that play.
The chances of Glenn having read a book about the rules of baseball are pretty slim.
There's a swing and a miss. First time through the lineup, 4 strikeouts, no walks for Wainwright, and 1 hit allowed. A bunt base hit by Polanco. 2 away.
My favorite Glenn Brummer story is him coming out to talk to Dave LaPointe in a key moment, key situation in a pennant race. And he's pumping him up. Dave, you're great. You've got a tremendous changeup today. You got to keep throwing it. I mean, they can't hit your changeup. Looked out of the corner of his eye and he saw Whitey coming out, and he said, I can't say all of it, what he said. He said, you're terrible and your changeup was lousy. He just changed his tune on a dime, and LaPointe started laughing on the mound in a key game because of Glenn Brummer.
Dave LaPointe, part of that 1982 club. Keith Hernandez, obviously. And Keith saying yesterday, 1982, that team, the best he ever played on. Tsutsugo in the hole, 0-2.
I was in college at a local establishment studying, as I recall.
Library.
Yeah, something like that. It was actually called the Mousetrap. I remember that in Charlottesville, and I was a minor league player, so not really associated with that 82 team other than by the fact that I'm in the organization. But boy, did I love those moments, and the George Hendrick hit, the Keith Hernandez hit, the Bruce Sutter moment. It just was really thrilling for me.
You start looking at these guys that have gone into the Cardinal Hall of Fame or baseball's Hall of Fame and realize how many good players came through in the 80s here in St. Louis. Strikeout number 5. Goldschmidt, O'Neill, Arenado coming up. Already 5 Ks through 3. Folks in Big Mac land, join this Sunday afternoon. Download the McDonald's app to grab a $1 any size frozen beverage every game day, valid April 1st through October 3rd. Every Cardinals home or away game. Hitting streak now at 11 for Paul Goldschmidt. So he doubled off the third base bag, came around to score on a 2-out hit from Yadier Molina.
Good spot in the order to be thinking more runs, and the Cardinals need to score in more than just 2 or 3 innings in a game.
The 1-2 pitch. And the 2-2. Full count on Paul Goldschmidt. O'Neill, third spot in the lineup. He's on deck. Clean up Nolan Arenado. 3-2 pitch to Paul Goldschmidt, sitting on 18 home runs. Sends it out to center. And the first out in the home half of the third. Cardinals celebrate the return of African-American Heritage Day, Monday, September 6th. Purchase of a special themed ticket. Fans will take home a unique Cardinals cap designed by St. Louis artist Brock Seals. So don't miss a special Heritage celebration in the Budweiser Terrace before the game. And that's coming up on Monday, September 6th.
Tyler has certainly become a more consistent player. Average has been 270s for quite some time now. The power's still there. You wonder if there's some breakout year in his future. Could he possibly have a year where he just goes nuts?
I think that's what the Cardinals have been banking on, to continue to play him last year, year before, because it's there, but can they untap it?
And what's here now is good. But is there a great somewhere? Is there a 40 home run, 120 RBI year? I guess we'll find out.
1 ball and 2 strikes. O'Neill walked his first time up, and the 1-2 pitch. Off the end of the bat into shallow right. That'll drop for a hit. On base for the second time.
There was a time in his development where with that particular pitch he might try to pull it and swing and miss. But he went down to get it. Off-speed pitch down and away. Instead of getting the front shoulder pulling out, he stays on it and gets rewarded with a hit. Gotten much better, Dan, with 2 strikes.
Here's Arenado, fly to left with 2 runners on. 0 for 1 today, takes a ball outside. It's 1-2-5 to the plate. 1-3, 1-4, kind of the cutoff. If you decide to run, Cardinals did some running last night and it paid off.
Always thought that the lefty's number to the plate is a little less important than the right-handers, because if you pick up your leg and you start timing it from right there, they can still throw to first base. Right-hander can't do that.
3-0. Molina on deck.
I have some homework I'm going to assign myself, Dan, because you like to assign it. I'll just get it out of the way and do it myself. I want to hear some reports about how the minor leagues have liked, and I want to talk to some of the development guys about the new rules that they're working on in the minor leagues, including pitchers not being able to throw to bases.
So I'm told that the Cardinals were going to start doing kind of a deep dive on that right around this time, mid to late August. Get the data, see what it looks like league wide and for them. And the 3-1. Arenado with a fly ball out to left. Tsutsugo coming in to make the catch, and that is out number 2. I think specifically what I want to see, and there's a bunch. Bigger bases, not throwing over as many times, but the automatic strike zone, which has been used in rookie ball, how that has worked out.
And the defensive positioning in the infield is the other one. Not being able to really do a dramatic shift. You have to have 2 people on each side of the bag, and be anxious to hear whether people like that or not.
Was told that Austin Dean was on a rehab assignment at Single A, automatic strike zone being used, and thought it was a ball, started walking about a third of the way down, and it just took a while to relay whether or not it was a strike. It dropped his bat, walking to first, and they had to call him back, and they've had those kind of instances, and it's not like a player's going to argue. It's automatic. It's not the umpire's fault. This is what they're being given.
I saw on a Twitter post a automatic umpire call that was wrong, clearly wrong.
Yes.
That's happened.
Saw one in the Arizona Fall League where it bounced in front of the plate, then bounced back up, caught the strike zone, and they called it a strike, and they said we are told we cannot overturn these calls. So there's got to be some of the finer points to be worked out. Yadi chops it foul, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Makes me think that it'll be a lot like trying to argue with an automated system, trying to get help on your whatever it might be, some service at home or an IT question. They're not going to be quite as understanding of whatever it is you're trying to say.
I do have to wonder if the pendulum will swing back, because in high school, college, elite players are seeing shifts, so they're learning how to hit against it. You know, where a lot of guys, you know, take for instance Yadier Molina, didn't see shifts when he came up in 2004. You would see guys shade a little bit, but not shifting to what we see right here, which is holding it first, second baseman near the bag, and a ton of room on the right side.
The Pirates bunting a lot goes hand in hand with that.
Sure. 2-2 the count. And the 2-2 carries to Polanco in right. He'll make the catch. And we head to the 4th. Hayes, Reynolds, Moran coming up in a 1-run game. T-Mobile coverage cam. Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Beautiful day for baseball here in the Gateway City. Cardinals will enjoy the off day tomorrow, and then Miguel Cabrera and the Tigers will be in town on Tuesday. 6:45 the first pitch for that ball game. So if you have a ticket, 6:45 will be on the air at 6 Tuesday night. 12:15 on Wednesday, getaway day, and then we'll see the Pirates again on Thursday.
I would think Miguel Cabrera would get a nice round of applause here from Cardinal fans who appreciate good play, even with guys who have had their careers elsewhere. That's a historic moment for Cabrera and the Tigers franchise.
I wonder if the Cardinals will acknowledge that.
I think they should.
Before the game on Tuesday. Big curveball and a strike to keep Brian Hayes.
I appreciated, Dan, the Pirates' reaction to Wendy Gibson coming around on the car.
Very nice.
They stopped it when the car got near them, and they were standing in the dugout giving her a round of applause. Just really appreciate their support of her and the acknowledgement of Bob Gibson.
One ball, 1 strike. Hayes, Reynolds, Moran here in the 4th inning. Did not go. 2-1. Cincinnati top of the 8th with a 2-1 lead over Miami. Phillies and Padres coming up later this afternoon. Mets, Dodgers. Little League game will feature the Angels and Indians. Those Little Leaguers getting a treat with Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani. That's awesome.
I would say a hitter's ballpark too, as I recall the stadium they use. Stadium might be a strong word to use, but it's a nice field.
And who cares about the stadium? It's about the interaction with the kids. It's great.
I still picture Tommy Pham buying a whole row of kids snow cones.
Yeah.
Sitting right near me, and I just had such a magical feel to it.
The 2-2 hung it, lifted in the air to left field, got underneath it, catch made by Bader. Hayes 0 for 2. And with 1 out, it brings in Brian Reynolds. Cardinals have kept Hayes in check. He's now 1 for 11 in the series, but that one hit, a big one last night, brought in 2. Reynolds fly to right first time up, and that's tap foul. And strike 1.
Still looking for that big damage moment offensively for the Cardinals today, because they're in the same position they've been in several games, where you're one defensive mistake or one hanging slider away from the game turning again. Not a lot of margin for error.
0-2.
Some pitchers major on velocity and minor on location. Adam Wainwright's the other way around. He's got his major on location, and it has served him well.
The 1-2 pitch. Curveball. And it's 2-2. Check swing, and he went. Strikeout number 6 for Adam Wainwright. Talking about location, and down in the zone, couldn't hold up.
And that's an all-star at the plate who doesn't get fooled a lot.
There's Colin Moran hitting above 300 against right-handed pitching, coming into play today. 2 outs, nobody on, and ball 1. So it's a team high 25th start of 2021 for Adam Wainwright. 351st career start, 418th career appearance. Seven or more innings and 13 starts this year, trailing only Zach Wheeler of Philly. He's got 15. Trying to bounce back after a 2-0 loss Tuesday. And a ground ball into the shift. Tommy Edman, 1-2-3, go the Pirates. He has struck out 6, allowed 1 hit, no walks through 4, and it's 1-0. St. Louis Cardinals baseball this Hall of Fame weekend is brought to you by Ford, the official car and truck of the Cardinals. Newest plaques: Bill White, Tommy Hurd, John Tudor, and Keith Hernandez. As Newbar looks at a strike first time up, grounded to second. 1 for 13 against left-handed pitching, but getting that start, vote of confidence today. Hits it the other way, near the line. Tsutsugo coming in, gets by him. It's a fair ball and a ground rule double for Lars Nootbaar. But a ball that should have been caught.
I don't think that was a Sun issue. I think he was fooled by the fact that it wasn't hit as hard perhaps as he thought, and he didn't get a great jump on it. Here's the swing. Not great contact, and he's kind of underneath it, but not really. And then he had to go after it at the last second. Ball just died in front of him.
Never touched it.
And that's a break. Big time break for the Cardinals. Now you have to cash in.
It's a break for the Pirates. It went over the sidewall. The speed of Newbar, it goes in the corner. He's off to the races.
He was thinking about 3. I noticed he was already to second base by the time the dust settled there, and he was thinking about 3 until he was told to stop.
Scored a double, and now Sosa. First time up, grounded to short, so leadoff double, Lars Nootbaar.
I think the Pirates are experimenting a little bit with where they're playing guys and who's playing, and they're trying to take a look at next year and beyond.
We saw Suzuko at first base in this series. We've seen him lower in the lineup. He's a leadoff man today. You've had Hoy Park playing second, short, left, center.
Not exactly like spring training, but almost, Dan, in terms of what the Pirates are trying to do now. Of course, it's served them well the last couple of games. They've played well, and they've won 2 games against St. Louis, so not criticizing it, but it's a different attitude when you begin play 30.5 games out of first place. You're clearly thinking about the future.
2-1 pitch. 3-1. Hey, best wishes to our buddy Max Gifford. His dad works for the Cardinals, but Max broke his back last night and resting comfortably. Hopefully he's going to be just fine, but he's watching our telecast today. He has helped us out in the booth before. So, Max, we're thinking about you.
Well, all of the work that goes on to
that's ball 4
to make a ballpark ready to play is I guess they lost track there for a second, but Matt Gifford has done as much as anybody, Dan, in handling all of the complexities of the COVID protocols and make it a good environment for fans to come and enjoy Cardinal baseball. And he's had a lot of tireless days here at the ballpark, and he is to be commended.
Zanaya Bader, nobody out. Runners at first and second. And Adam Wainwright on deck. Bader fly to right first time up. Infield in a few steps. This will be interesting to see what the Cardinals want to do here, how they want to play it.
You don't worry quite so much about the double play with Bader at the plate because of his speed. You have the pitcher up next, but it's not just your average pitcher, it's Adam Wainwright.
Right-hander Kyle Keller throwing in the Pittsburgh bullpen. Bader's had a tough homestand, 1 for 19, 6 strikeouts, 3 walks. Next pitch, number 70 for Brault.
I love the sound mic right near that catcher's glove. Absolutely love it.
Everybody's throwing hard down there. Inside, 2 balls and no strikes. Two 2-0 the count on Harrison Bader. Runners at first and second. 3-0. Wainwright on deck.
I just noticed, Dan, that the sign was fixed.
Bader hit it off the 50-50 sign, just foul down the left field line last night. Knocked out about half the sign.
And most of the money.
3-0 pitch. Thought they might turn him loose on 3-0 with the pitcher on deck.
And he was aiming at that sign again. Rather than pick out a letter in Big Mac land.
The 3-1 pitch. Fouled back, 3-2. Inning started with a double. Lars Nootbaar walk to Sosa from 3-0 to 3-2, and now time is called on the upcoming pitch, number 74 from Steven Brault. The 3-2 pitch. Bader pulls it just foul. And a fly ball into right. Nootbaar tagging up from second to third. And runners at the corners, one down for Adam Wainwright. Nissan drive of the game was back in the second inning, a double inside the third base line. That came with 2 outs and then grounded out. And he was left stranded, but Adam Wainwright 1 for 1 so far. I'm going to talk it over here and what they want to do.
Must be a pretty good hitting pitcher if they're going to have a conversation on the mound about you, but it's more about whether or not Wainwright might bunt here too. They want to make sure they have a clear understanding defensively as much as pitch selection. It's not really about pitch selection here. It's, you know, what could Wainwright do here if he tries to push bunt, or are we going to try to get a double play out of it? Should we charge? Should we keep the infielders in at first and third? So there's a lot of decisions, I think, being relayed from the manager, Derek Shelton, to the pitching coach, and that is Oscar Marine. Looks like Hayes is going to play back at third, although now he's starting to come in.
Why not bunt? Why not squeeze? Try something. Waino, the major league leader in sacrifice bunts. He's got 12. He squares, puts it out in front of the plate. Play at the plate.
Did it hit his foot?
So I think it bounced up. It didn't hit Wainwright, but it may have hit his bat. Take a look here.
There he is in the front of the box.
Oh, yeah, maybe just skimmed it.
I wasn't 100% sure that happened, although Adam seemed like he recognized that had happened.
A throw over to see maybe if Adam would shove. He's going to bunt.
That was a fact-finding mission.
Pretty shallow in the outfield. He's bunting, gets it down. Newbar to the plate, and now in a rundown. He's tagged out. Runners at first and second, and 2 down.
Not the greatest of jumps by Newbar, but the bunt was also a little too close to the pitcher Brault, who was charging. Not bad, though, by Adam Wainwright. He deadened it enough, but Brault gets to the baseball, and give him credit. That's a terrific play by Brault. And Newbar was being held on at third by Hayes. So the safety squeeze, not the suicide squeeze, didn't pan out.
Tommy Edman is 0 for 2. Struck out swinging and grounded out to short.
Boy, that changes the inning, doesn't it?
Sure does. And a pitch in the dirt.
Well, it hurts that that happened, but it'll stop hurting quickly if Tommy Edman can pick up Adam Wainwright.
It's out of play. Edman hitting .297 with runners in scoring position. Pirates in the 5th will have Polanco, Newman, and Perez, so 5 spots away from Steven Brault's position in their lineup. And Keller is plenty hot and loose and ready to go. The 1-1. Edman, a little flare out to shallow left, and the catch made by the shortstop.
Ooh.
Kevin Newman battling the sun. So the Cardinals get the first 2 on base, and they cannot score. We head to the 5th. Join Cardinals Vacations in Cancun. That'll be in December. For more information, head to cardinals.com/vacations. Let's check in. It's a 1-0 score in favor of the Cardinals with Jimmy Hayes. Jim.
Adam Wainwright as the stopper. It's been an ongoing story for the Cards this season. This is the 6th time Waino gets a start, with the Cards carrying a losing streak of 2 games or more. In his previous 5, he's 4-0. Mike Schultz said this of Waino: he's a stabilizer, a guy you can count on with consistency and quality. He's been that way for a long, long time. He's definitely been the guy that's carried the mail for us in the starting rotation. But Danny, where would the Cardinals be without Waino this season?
Be ugly, and he has stopped some losing skids. Obviously had a big role in the rotation, and the Cardinals getting a little bit healthier, Jimmy, with KK, and they made a move today.
Yeah, KK off the IL. Dan, Junior Fernandez option to Memphis. KK had just that one rehab outing, and he isn't totally stretched out yet. He goes to the bullpen. Mike Schultz told me that he was good for about 45 pitches, so they'll find a role for KK, but for now it's out of the bullpen, Danny.
Well, that's how he started, ironically enough, last year against the Pirates in the 60-game shortened season, and was working as the closer at that time for the Cardinals.
That's right.
And then eventually moved to the rotation.
Nice to have him back.
Waino just got out to the mound to take his warm-up tosses, so looking for his 5th win this season. Would snap at least back-to-back losses. 39 career wins for Adam when the Cardinals have dropped 2 or more in a losing skid.
Remember having a conversation with Mike Maddox during the offseason and talking about Wainwright and how wonderful he was to Kim when he came over from South Korea, and he made him feel at home and befriended him. And he said, look, if you want to get that full story right, you got to realize how much Adam Wainwright has benefited from Kim's directions also, as he taught him to go back to long tossing, something that he'd done and kind of put off to the side. But I'm not so sure that's not been a positive thing for Wainwright as much as Wainwright has been for Kim. Kim's a veteran guy. He's not a kid. He's been around and been very successful at a high level.
The first pitch, strike to Polanco. Fifth inning rolls in, then Newman and Perez. 0-2. Polanco, the bunt base hit, and that's the only hit the Pirates have against Adam Wainwright today. He struck out 6, has not walked anybody. And the bunt hit by Polanco. The 0-2 pitch taken down and in. Long toss used to be a part of the preparation of not just pitchers, but everybody. See it all the time.
Danny Cox was my long toss partner.
Grounder to Tommy Edman. John Tudor pointing out that Danny Cox in his speech yesterday was the best big game pitcher he was
That's
around.
Right. And I would agree with him.
First man retired. Polanco 1 for 2, and now Newman.
Another thing that Adam Wainwright has incorporated into his routine is what he calls, and these are his words, not mine, and he's talking about himself, because I'm not into ageism comments, but he calls it the old man walk. And what it'll do after a start, no matter what ballpark he's in, and he's doing it here at Busch Stadium also, he comes to the ballpark, the first thing he does is he walks through the steps all around the ballpark, and he's taking photos at some of the parks that he's been in on the road.
Curveball, and that's a base hit down in the corner for Kevin Newman. The second hit for the Pirates and a 1-out double. Chevy pitch tracks, and this is one of the mistakes he's made today. Not many, but hung that breaking ball just a bit.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I agree that it was hung, but it's odd that it was in the bottom of the zone.
Yeah.
And it hangs when it's not as sharp. That's what we see. The ball rolls a little bit instead of has a sharp downward break to it.
Now Michael Perez grounded back to Wainwright first time up. Takes a pitch low. Last time that Wainwright faced the Pirates, you may remember, muggy evening in Pittsburgh, and he told Jim Hayes afterwards really was battling the heat, and it's a hot day here this afternoon. Took his time after running the bases last inning. Perez has not been good in these spots. 4 for 39 with runners in scoring position.
The hole on the left side of the infield scares me a bit.
Big shift for the Cardinals. Hits it into the shift. Softly to second baseman Tommy Edman, and the out.
I guess I had no reason to fear.
We have Hoy Park here, and then the pitcher's spot. Keller has continued to throw, so it looks like that Derek Shelton will go to his bullpen midway through. So 2 outs and a runner at second base. Park grounded to short first time up. Curveball, a beauty. Strike 1. Sosa just did something you rarely see even at this level of professional baseball, backing up the throw from the catcher Yadier Molina back to Adam Wainwright.
And there he is again.
You don't see that happen very often.
I think he's just conditioned to do that, and that's not a distrust of Yadi or Waino, but defensive players that are smart are taught there's always a place for you to be on the field. So why not?
Off the plate, and it's 2-1. Braves again leading in the ninth over Baltimore. They picked up 6 games on the East. Their current road trip trying to make it 9-0 and go 15-3 in August. Trying to run away with that Eastern Division. 3-1 curveball drops in for his strike. Now they do have the Yankees, San Francisco twice, at LA, at Colorado coming up. So schedule gets tougher for the Braves.
Philadelphia hasn't been playing well. The Mets haven't been playing well.
Waino comes back to get Parks. Sosa there and makes the play. Pirates have stranded 2 through 5 coming up. Goldschmidt, O'Neill, Arenado. All stayed good hands back in the 4th inning. Wainwright bunting in this spot. Runners at first and third, 1 out. Brault to the plate. Perez would run down Nootbaar. And essentially that threat was through for St. Louis.
Really a good bunt by Adam Wainwright, but a better play defensively by Brault. And Nootbaar would have been better off not going. At least he would have had a sacrifice and 2 runners in scoring position. But I think he thought he could get there, but Brault beat him to it.
Kyle Keller, our Chevy, called to the pen. 9 road games, ERA close to 9, so he has the 5th inning. His spot due up first.
I don't know where we're going to end up in this game, Dan. I don't know what the score will be, but I do know it seems kind of fitting as we play in the bottom of the 5th inning on a day where we honor Bob Gibson that the score is 1-0.
Goldie pulls it foul, and he's 1 for 2. Defensive change. That's Wilmer Defoe. So Defoe will go into the 9 position, and Keller into Park's spot, who made the last out. That is hammered. Deep left. Goodbye. Into Big Mac land. Number 19 for Paul Goldschmidt.
I don't think Bob Gibson would mind that it's 2-0 instead of 1-0. Our Plaza Tire Service replay. 94 off the plate in. Must have been looking in. And he smoked that ball into Big Mac land.
Tyler O'Neill, 2-0 our score. 6th time this year that Goldschmidt has led off an inning with a home run. Number 19, RBI number 71. O'Neill on base twice. And that hit him. So Keller allows the home run, and now O'Neill on base for the 3rd time. He's hit by a pitch. He is singled, hit by pitch, and a walk.
Just grazes him, but that's all it has to do. Graze your shirt, your skin, the protective gear, it doesn't matter. We even saw, I believe it was on the last road trip, perhaps it was during this homestand, that it was a hit by pitch on a ball that just barely nicked a string hanging from the protective gear.
Yeah, one of the straps got it.
One of the straps, that's right. That's odd.
Arenado twice is flied out to left. Shift on the left side, and they hold it first. So the entire right side is wide open for Nolan Arenado. Hit out of play. 1-3 to the plate for Keller.
I believe Nolan was trying to hit that ball to the right side.
Agreed. Swing looked that way. Steven Brault, the starter for the Pirates, 4 innings, 5 hits, gave up a run, walked 2, struck out 1. And the 0-1 pitch. Nothing in 2.
A lot of pitches for Brault. That's part of the reason he's out of the game. 81 pitches in 4 innings is a lot. Wainwright on the other side has been able to keep his pitch count low enough. 5 innings, 70 pitches.
Oh, 2 pitch, fouled back. So Goldie is now driven in 16 in the month of August. So play on the 22nd of this month, and that's the most runs batted in any month that he's had this year and counting. Plenty of games left here in the month of August. That long home run to make it a 2-0 advantage for St. Louis. The 0-2.
Nolan trying to protect him, just put the ball in play. The Pirates now with a more traditional defense. I wonder if Mike Shildt might be thinking about running with Tyler O'Neill here to stay out of the double play.
Not running. The 0-2 inside, 1-2. Yadier Molina on deck. Good take, 2-2.
And perhaps a better pitch count to run on now.
Cardinals get their first home run since Thursday against Milwaukee. Had not homered in this series. See if O'Neill runs here. Slightly bigger lead. The 2-2 pitch not going. Popped up right side. Colin Moran over and out of play. I'm with you. I mean, I want to see him run a little bit. They caused some havoc on the bases last night. We saw when Mike Shildt first took over, he was going for broke.
Really what the Cardinals did in the 6th inning of the game yesterday. They ran themselves into a couple of runs, a stolen base, and really aggressive running by Nootbaar. Going first to third. Definitely can put stress on the other team.
2-2 pitch. Arenado yanks it foul. Pitch number 9 of the at-bat coming up. And the strikeout of Nolan Arenado. 0 for 3 today.
Haven't really heard Nolan Arenado say this or talk to him about it, but there are hitters, Dan, that prefer guys not run while they're batting.
Oh yeah, all the time. Jimmy talks about that all the time.
And it's there's something about that feeling when player takes off, it gets them a little amped up maybe, and they get too aggressive at the plate instead of just doing what they would normally do, which is what you hope would happen. It forces you out of your zone a bit. It can. Some players don't mind, others don't care for it.
About a hit and run here with Yadier Molina.
I'm in.
I'm not sure there's a guy that I would think about at the plate more so to hit and run than Yadi. 2-run lead. Good speed at first in Tyler O'Neill. Molina had a 2-out RBI base hit to left that scored Goldschmidt back in the first. He's flied to right. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Here's your count to go.
No question. This is it.
The proverbial swing pitch.
Two balls and 1 strike.
Yadi checking out the sign from Pop Warner. There are some players that, and Yadi, I think, is one of them. I believe Jose Oquendo has said that there's times where he's just put it on himself.
Three and 1. Yadi hitting .289. Balls to the opposite field. .314 in his career that way. 3-1 pitch. Full count. Well, now you start the runner. I have to think that O'Neill is off with the pitch here. Pitch number 19 of the inning for Keller. O'Neill is running, and it's a foul ball. O'Neill running, and the pitch is popped up. It'll be caught. The right fielder Polanco almost popped out of his glove as he bumped with Reynolds. O'Neill back to the bag at first.
As often happens in a play like this, the taller guy is the one that catches it. This is Polanco. He's calling it. I could hear him say, I got it, I got it. But Brian Reynolds saying the same thing. And interesting, they banged elbows, yet he was still able to catch the baseball. Little miscommunication there.
So the Braves hold on against the Orioles. The other part of what's happening there, the O's now have an 18-game losing skid,
boy.
18 in a row. There's Lars Nootbaar, and that was with a quality start from John Means, who's pretty darn good. So if it doesn't end with him, when does it end for the O's?
That's a tough way to go through the dog days of August.
Oh, man. The 0-1 pitch to Nootbaar. Nothing in 2. Doubled down the left field line. Ball that bounced and then went over the sidewall for a ground rule double. It's also grounded out to second. One ball and 2 strikes. O'Neill stays put, kept in front by Perez. Now a final, Cincinnati over Miami 3-1. Atlanta wins 3-1. They're in the bottom of 5. Brewers have a 3-1 lead over Washington. The 1-2 pitch, O'Neill running, and it's a strikeout of Lars Nootbaar. A couple of strikeouts in the inning. Home run hit by Paul Goldschmidt is 19th into Big Mac land. With that swing, it's a 2-run lead for St. Louis. Paul Goldschmidt with a long home run into Big Mac land out in left field. Adam Wainwright is allowed just 2 base hits, a bunt hit, and a double. Statcast powered by Google Cloud. A look at the strikeout pitches for Adam. He has struck out 6 and allowed just 2 hits.
See any baseballs in the middle of the plate?
Not many. Talked about it a lot, the location that he has had, and again, it furthers the point. You don't have to throw 100. It's about location, changing speeds. You can sink it, you cut it, and he's able to do that. He pitches. Second baseman Wilmer Defoe is a switch hitter and takes a strike. Defoe, then Tsutsugo and Hayes, part of a double switch for the Pirates, and we're underway here in the top half of the 6th. 2-0 Cardinals. Fly ball to left fielder Tyler O'Neill. He's there, makes the catch, and that's the first out. The Orioles started back in 1988 by going 0-21. So which is worse? In the dog days of August, or knowing that you've lost 21 straight in your entire season with no wild card at that time is just about over.
I know I had a start against the Orioles in 1988, and I know I didn't lose the first game that they won. I know that, but that was a team that had Cal Ripken in the middle of their lineup. Pretty good player.
I mean, baseball is such a funny game. You can be a poor team, but you find a way to win 1 out of 20, 1 out of 21.
No doubt.
Pitcher goes out, he throws a gem. Wow. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Tsutsugo, and he yanks it foul. He has struck out twice. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Doesn't happen anymore, or at least that I can tell, but we used to see minor league, or not minor league, but big league games against college teams in spring training. And there are times where the college team would beat the big league team in a little exhibition game.
Sure.
You get the right pitcher on the right day, and apparently that has just not happened for Baltimore. Coming to the ballpark every day when you're in the midst of that is tough mentally. Very tough mentally.
Here's a 1-2 pitch, which does make it frustrating from the Cardinals' perspective of facing a Pirates team that had dropped 5 in a row coming into this series. And what was it, 16 of 18, something like that? 17 of 19. The 2-2 pitch had him way out in front. Strikeout number 7. And 2 away here in the 6th inning.
There's another one not in the middle of the strike zone, but it's a swing and a miss. So if it's out of the zone, they're called chases, and Adam can get a lot of chases. But he's also had a couple of called strike threes on pitches where he surprises you and hits a corner somewhere with a fastball.
Brian Hayes pops it foul. 0 for 2, struck out looking and fly to center.
One of the ideas of pitching is to not be predictable.
Missed in. And a count of 1-1. Hit down the right field line. That'll find the seats out of play. Off the screen. Down the right field line. 2 strikes on Hayes. 2 outs, nobody on. Cardinals have Sosa, Bader, and Wainwright coming up. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Struck him out earlier in the ball game on a fastball looking. Elevated that just a bit. 2-2. Nootbaar is over and out of room.
And he doubled up on the fastball. Again, not being predictable. You throw the high fastball out of the zone, the first thought in a hitter's mind is he's setting me up for the curveball.
And the 2-2. Lifted to left fielder Tyler O'Neill. A 1-2-3. 6th inning for Adam Wainwright. Sosa, Bader, Waino coming up. This Caprati telecast presented by authority of the Cardinals, not to be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Warm, beautiful day here in downtown St. Louis. Steven Brault, the starter for the Pirates. 4 innings. Newman 1 for 2. Pirates just 2 hits. Wainwright threw 6. Goldschmidt, another multi-hit effort, including a home run into Big Mac land. First pitch, Keller's 2nd inning of work. A strike to Edmundo Sosa. Sosa has bounced to short and also walked back in the 4th. The 0-1 pitch, and he's hit by it. Keller is hit 2. He's got that elbow guard. I'm not sure it got him there.
You can hear the expression of pain live, so you know it got him good. Looks like it's his tricep, perhaps.
Sosa has been hit a ton in limited time.
He sure has.
.92-mile-an-hour fastball gets him on the arm.
.13 hit by pitches for Sosa. Not sure you want to lead the team in that department, but he does have the team lead.
And 13, that's tied for the 6th most in the National League. Bader 0 for 2. I mean, I keep saying it, but I want to see the Cardinals run.
Yeah.
Get aggressive.
I'm with you, Danny. I feel the same way about it.
I mean, really, what do you have to lose? Popped up, left side. And out of play. Hey, our buddy Ben Mazak, who has worked in our crew, does an amazing job. He and his wife welcomed new member to the Cardinal family and the Bally Sports family, Aiden Patrick Mazak. 5 pounds, 5 ounces, about 18 inches. Mommy and the baby are doing great. And Ben, we miss you. Get back soon. Congratulations. One and two the count. Sosa leaning towards second base. Now running, swing and a miss, and a stolen base for Sosa.
I think there's going to be an interference call. Bader walked right in front of the catcher Perez after swinging and missing, and I believe they're going to call Sosa out. So that's a mistake by Bader. I don't know if he knew he was going, just didn't kind of register with him. But they're going to call him out. Here's the swing and the miss, and Bader just walks right in front of Perez. Now maybe the swing took him there, but he just couldn't hold up.
Yeah, called it right away. Interference. That is a non-reviewable play, by the way. So Mike Schilt out to plead his case, but it's non-reviewable.
I think he's just trying to get an explanation, and I heard, I could read lips at least. Getting pretty good at that these days. And maybe I wish I wasn't in some cases, but Bruce Treckman telling him he walked right in front of him. I had to call it.
So 2 outs and nobody on. Batter's interference, and now it's Adam Wainwright. And the first pitch taken for a strike. Buckled his knees. Here's an 0-2 pitch to Adam Wainwright. 1-2 the count. Cardinals have out hit the Pirates 6-2. They lead 2-0 St. Louis. They have left 7 on in this game. In the 7th, 3, 4, and 5 for the Pirates coming up. Reynolds, Moran, Polanco. And the 1-2 pitch to Adam Wainwright. Missed outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Waino with a double inside the third base line. 1 for 2 today. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Full count.
Maybe lost on the batter's interference call was how good the jump was and how easy it would have been to steal that bag. Been no chance to get him. And I don't really think he was impeded anyway. And I think that's what Mike Schilt's discussion was. It's like, look, he threw the ball, Bader ducked out of his way. But I still think the call is probably the right call.
Keller loses Wainwright. 2-out walk. Brings in Tommy Edman. Cardinals have received 3 walks today. Runner at first base and 2 down for Tommy Edman. He is struck out, grounded to short, and popped out to short. Shift on the right side and strike one. Waino's 26th walk of his career, tying him with Zach Greinke, fourth among active pitchers. Leading the way, Madison Bumgarner with 48. And the 0-1 pitch. 0-2. Keller came in relief of Bronk, gave up a home run to start the fifth. Hit Tyler O'Neill, was able to get out of that inning. This inning started with a hit batter. Bader struck out. Interference, and Sosa trying to steal. Walk to Wainwright. And the 0-2 pitch now to Tommy Edman. Fly ball into shallow right. And we head to the seventh. 2-0 Cardinals. The Budweiser What's on Tap off day tomorrow. And then Tuesday night, Jack Flaherty going for St. Louis. Casey Mize for Detroit. If you have a ticket, 6:45 with the first pitch. Kids back in school, earlier starts in the weekdays here at Busch Stadium. Flaherty 9-1 this year. The Budweiser What's on Tap is lined the last couple of starts in his return to the rotation. Jimmy Hayes, what do you have for us?
Denny, Dakota Hudson making his way back from Tommy John. The Cards are hopeful we could see Dakota getting a couple of innings with the big club before the end of the season. John Mozeliak told me, if you asked me that a month ago, I would have ruled it out. I just saw him throw a bullpen in Jupiter, and he looked really good. Mozeliak said we'll send him out on a rehab in the next week or so to compete in games and see how it goes. Mo said seeing him in a game here in September would be a big mental boost for Dakota and the team. Also, Danny, Mozeliak said seeing Jordan Hicks back with the big clubs is unlikely, but not out of the question. Mo said Hicks has made great progress, but right now they're focused on finding him a place to pitch in the offseason. But he's doing very, very well, Danny.
All right, good news. Thank you, Jimmy. This guy pitching very well here today as we move to the seventh. Adam Wainwright is 2 hits allowed, 7 strikeouts, no walks. Another ball game that Ricky easily you could see Waino going at least 7 and maybe more.
83 pitches right now.
The BJC Healthcare difference maker. It is Adam Wainwright. 6 innings, couple of hits, 7 strikeouts, no walks, no runs.
What a great line again for Wainwright against the Pirates. He had a similar line through 9 innings against the Pirates in Pittsburgh, but no walks, 7 strikeouts. That's what you appreciate about Wainwright. He is pounding the strike zone.
And there it is, strike 1 on Reynolds. (16 of 21). First pitch strikes for Adam Wainwright. Reynolds 0 for 2. Fly to right, struck out on a check swing.
Unfortunately, on the offensive side for the Cardinals, you have a day that's becoming a little familiar where they've had a base runner in every inning, but they've only been able to push 2 runs across.
And the 1-1 pitch. Fly ball that'll carry to Bader. First out here in the 7th. So Wainwright gets the first out to start the top of the 7th. Pooch is in the ballpark, presented by Purina coming up, in those tickets. They will go on sale tomorrow at 10 a.m. Cardinals.com/Pooches always sells out, so make sure you log on 10 o'clock tomorrow morning if you want to come down with your dog. There's Colin Moran, who is struck out looking and grounded out to second. Pitch number 87 for Wainwright. Had him way out in front. He's done that time and again.
So he did that 2 ways. He changed his motion, and he threw a slower curveball, made it tantalizing for Moran, who just could not stay back. really, it was a curveball changeup. It was really that pitch he just threw. He's inventing things.
Softly hit right side. Goldie, Waino, 2 away. While we have a moment, quick word from Great Southern Bank.
We put our customers first, and they returned the favor. Forbes ranked us the #1 bank in the United States, according to our customers. If you're ready for award-winning support, stop by anytime.
Here's Polanco, 1 for 2 with a bunt single. That was back in the second inning. 7 in a row retired by Wainwright after the double hit by Newman. Shift on the right side. First pitch, a strike. Man, it's just fun to watch this guy pitch every 5th day.
18 out of 23 first pitch strikes now.
The 1-1. Grounded. Right side. Edmonds spins and got him. Time to stretch on this Sunday afternoon. Coming up, Paul Goldschmidt. A double and a home run hit today. That one into Big Mac land. Let's stretch. Birds on top. Cardinals baseball on Valley Sports Midwest, brought to you by Missouri Baptist Medical Center. Doctors call it world-class medicine. You'll call it MoBap. And by Budweiser, this Bud's for you. It's over at the Cardinals Hall of Fame. Tommy Herr, who 1 year drove in 110 while hitting only 8 home runs. So not doing a lot of that. That's StatCast powered by Google Cloud. The home run hit by Goldie into Big Mac land, and now 1 shy of 20 for the year. New pitcher is Mears. So Goldschmidt in the month of August hitting .360.
He's increased every month with his batting average. Got off to a slow start, which is typical for him. That's really the way his career has been throughout. But he's red hot right now.
The season average up to .284 with the 19 home runs. He's driven in 71. Chevy called to the pen. Third pitcher used by the Pirates. And the 2-0. 2-1. Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. The 2-1.
Tom Herr made the comment yesterday. He and I at lunch yesterday. He said the thing that people don't remember about how good John Tudor was, and it relates to Adam Wainwright today.
Goldschmidt with a high fly ball that'll carry to left. Tsutsugo with the catch.
He said when John Tudor threw 14 complete games in that stretch of games where he was unhittable in 1985, he said what people don't understand is how helpful that was to the Cardinals bullpen. All you guys. He said that's 14 days where you guys didn't even have to get up and throw.
Sure.
With John Tudor, and it was an extra day off. And you know that's how good Tudor was. So good to see him yesterday. 62-26 record as a Cardinal. The ERA 2.52, and he was throwing 87, 88 miles an hour with a changeup and a curveball. But he could dominate a game, and that's really what Wainwright can do now.
So picked up by a former teammate, little glitch in his delivery. They fixed it in a bullpen, and he goes off 20 of 21.
And he picked it up just by watching TV. He saw something that he wasn't doing, and I think it had to do with the beginning of his motion, this little hesitation thing, this little up movement that he did to keep him steady over the rubber. And once that was figured out, it was lights out.
Unbelievable. If not for Dwight Gooden, he wins a Cy Young. Strike to Nolan Arenado. We showed you the Tommy Herr portion of the exhibit over in the Cardinals Hall of Fame. Memorabilia from all the players over there. Keith Hernandez, Bill White, John Tudor. Tried to pull it back in the zone, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Nobody throwing in the St. Louis bullpen.
You mentioned that Adam Wainwright had a game against San Diego that was really a career turner for him, and John Tudor had a game in San Diego that turned that year around, and it was a loss. He lost to the Padres, and he actually had a decent ERA, but he just couldn't win a game. I believe he was 1-6, and he ripped his jersey into several pieces. I don't know how he did that. You know, they were the old double knit thing. He maybe used the scissors. I don't know. And I believe he set it on fire. I think that's what he did. So that jersey would be a nice little memorabilia piece. Maybe the ashes over at Ballpark Village and our wonderful Cardinals Hall of Fame and Museum. But that was the moment when things changed for him.
Larry State, Joe Pfeiffer, Tony Simakaitis, Craig Wilson, Brian Finch all did just a remarkable job pulling it off and making it such a great event again this year. The 1-2 hit to the right side, backhanded at first, mirrors to the bag, and the out. The John Tudor exhibit, Cardinals Hall of Fame. We head to the 8th. St. Louis on top.
Scott Warman with you on our Bally Sports Midwest Studios. Coming up after the game, we have Cardinals Live. Brad Thompson will be with us. Brad will break down another terrific start by Adam Wainwright. And we'll also talk about the red-hot Paul Goldschmidt. It's all coming up after the game on Cardinals Live as we send it back to Bush to Danny and Ricky.
All right, thank you, Scotty. So Wainwright trying to at least give the Cardinals 8. We'll see, if not more. And the first pitch taken for a ball. Kevin Newman, Michael Perez, and then the pitcher's spot.
Adam Wainwright, a number of starts, 7 innings or more over the span of 2017 to 2020. He did it 15 times. In this year alone, 14 times he's gone that deep into the game. And I'd ask you the question, Dan, if you take all the starters in Major League Baseball, how many of them would be out after 7 innings and 91 pitches?
Most.
80%, 90%?
Yeah.
Add in the fact that it's a hot August afternoon in St. Louis. Put that on top of that, and maybe you get up to 95, 98% of pitchers would be out, but not Adam Wainwright.
And the 3-1, a broken bat. Ground ball to Sosa, and he makes the play. So Newman retired. StubHub proud to be an official partner of the Cardinals this year. Plans change. You can easily list your tickets with StubHub. Even use the free seller toolkit to help manage the price of your tickets. StubHub. You can sell your tickets in just a few taps of your phone without any stress. Download the StubHub app today. Here's Michael Perez. Strike 1. Grounded back to Wainwright and grounded out to second. Giovanni Gallegos is getting loose in the bullpen if needed. 0-2. If he would get Perez and gets the next man, so that'll take him certainly over 100 pitches. What do you think? Do you let him go back out there?
It'd be another example of how does he feel, or another kind of thing I would put back on him. He does not look tired. Let's put it that way. He could be physically tired after pitching on a hot day, or your arm could be worn out. He's not kind of running out of gas either way in my mind. I'd say you start with him.
And that'll be a strikeout. Number 8. Very casual call by our home plate umpire and a called third strike.
I think he thought it was strike 2.
I am with you.
We've been having trouble with the strike counts a few times lately.
Yes, we have.
Yeah, I think what you do with Adam Wainwright, specifically, if he can get this out quickly, is you send him out for the 9th inning and you give him a number of pitches. I know that that's what has been done with him in the past, and I can't recall whether it was Matheny that would do that, or
Matheny would,
or Tony La Russa, or both, or Dave Duncan. I mean, who's the person delivering that news? But it'd be okay. You got 10 pitches. See how many outs you can get with him. Because he would comment after the game. He'd say, "Well, I knew I only had 12 pitches, and I had to figure out a way to get those outs quickly."
So this has been Gamble. We had a very nice game 2 last night, and then not in the starting lineup today. He is 0 for 7. A couple of strikeouts against Wainwright. Maybe that plays into it.
Still stunned he wasn't in the game after what he did yesterday.
Agreed. Shift on the right side, and the 2-1 pitch. Curveball and a beauty. 2-2. The 2-2 pitch. His season high in pitches is 113 this year.
I think where he is now, I would take him out. But I'd make sure somebody else delivered the news to him other than me. You tell him, Danny.
2-2. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back Ks to end the top of the 8th. 9 strikeouts for Waino. Another terrific performance from Adam Wainwright here today. 8 innings, no runs, no walks. He has struck out 9, 2 hits allowed. The Cardinals with 2 runs in this game. Goldschmidt with a double and a home run into Big Mac land. Hasn't been a ton of offense, but you haven't needed it. And he's going to stay in the game? Doesn't look like it.
I love that picture, and we caught that in between innings. That's Adam Wainwright jumping up and down. It was almost like he was a 10-year-old saying, "Can I stay out and play a little longer?" And Mike Schilt delivering the news that he was out, so he gets the handshakes. I also noticed that the first person Mike Schilt went to when they came off the field was Yadier Molina. And I think he was probably telling Yadi, "Why don't you go tell him?"
I ain't about to.
I wouldn't do it.
Molina up the middle and a base hit. 2-hit day for Yadi. The new pitcher is a lefty, Anthony Banda.
It'd be nice to add on a run or two, wouldn't it?
No question. Last pitcher to throw back-to-back shutouts against the Pirates. You have to go back to 2001 season, Randy Johnson. There's Lars Nootbaar. So Wainwright is in line for his 12th victory of the year. Be the 10th season of 12 or more wins. And that's second all time. Cardinals history. Off the plate, 1 ball, 1 strike. Nootbaar 1 for 3 with a double.
Don't you love the fact that he wanted to stay in the game, and you love the fact that he was still all smiles and shaking hands with his manager right after he found out he wasn't going to get to stay in.
The 1-1 pitch. Nootbaar slices one into shallow left. That ball will drop. It's a base hit. Gets by. Yadi will stop. Puts the hands up, put the stop sign on himself, and said, I'm not going anywhere. So runners at first and second.
Well, we said the Pirates were experimenting with a few things defensively. I think this experiment may come to an end here with Tsutsugo as an outfielder. Didn't get a very good jump, and then almost didn't know what to do when he got to the ball. Just kind of hit in front of him, and it went past him. Kind of an odd play, but a base hit for Nootbaar against a lefty.
And Lars is happy about that. He's been on the side of letting that ball drop a couple of times for a base hit. So 2 hits for Lars Nootbaar, and now Edmundo Sosa on base twice with a walk. Was hit by a pitch and hit out of play, and some insurance would be nice. Wayne right there with Michaelis and some of the other starters.
And the debrief begins.
And the 0-1 pitch, 0-2. Softly hit to the right side, out at second and safe at first. Runners at the corners. Hit slowly enough for Sosa to beat it out. It'll be Harrison Bader. Labor Day at the ballpark, Monday, September 6th. Cardinals host the Dodgers. That day, 30,000 fans ages 16 and older take home their very own Victory Blue hooded pullover, courtesy of the Shane Company. Cardinals.com/promotions for tickets. Well, you got to get this run home some way, somehow. Runners at the corners and 1 down. Paul DeJong is moved to the on-deck circle. Bader hitting .246 with runners in scoring position. The infield is in, and that'll do it. Base hit into center. Molina will score. 3-0 Cardinals. Harrison Bader drives in Yadi. 3-zip St. Louis.
Boy, that's a big run. That is a huge run for the Cardinals. And more support for Wainwright and soon to be Alex Reyes, who's getting loose in the Cardinals' pen. Change up, but he went down to get it. He didn't waste any time.
So Wainwright now officially out of the ball game. DeJong introduced as the pinch hitter for Adam. 2 hits, no runs, 9 strikeouts, no walks. Adam Wainwright just shy of his 40th birthday. DeJong 4 for 10 as a pinch hitter. Came in as a pinch hitter last night. 1 out and 2 on. Ball 1. Popped up. Out of play. Moran gives it a look.
Alex Ray is still the only one up in the Cardinals bullpen with an off day tomorrow. In my mind, he has the 9th inning no matter what happens.
Agreed.
Even if the Cardinals add on here and make it not a safe situation, I think Alex needs to work.
And the 1-1 pitch to DeYoung. Missed in. The 2-1. High fly ball into center. Ryan Reynolds shading from the sun and will make the catch. 2 outs. First and second for Tommy Edman, his 5th plate appearance. 0 for 4 today. He struck out, grounded to short, popped out to short, flied out to right. And they want to talk it over here about Tommy Edman. The Pirates will have Defoe, Tsutsugo, and Hayes coming up.
Still bizarre to me, Dan, that the discussion among all the pitchers on how to pitch to Tommy Edman, I'm sure it already took place before the beginning of a series, daily basis. You're sitting out in the bullpen for 8 innings. You talk with other guys about how you face and what you'll do with each batter. Some of the mound visits are perplexing to me, especially after the pitcher just got an out.
Yeah. So to your point about breaking the rhythm, 9-game hitting streak on the line now for Edman. Hitless today. Anthony Banda on the mound. It's spelled B-A-N-D-A, but pronounced Banda. Claimed off of waivers from the Mets. Trying to keep this a 3-run deficit. The 1-0 pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. So Wainwright, a scoreless streak now against the Pirates of 19 innings, 14th career start of 8 or more and no walks. In his 3rd this season. The 1-1. That's the most in baseball. 8 or more innings pitched, no walks. 3 different appearances. That leads all of baseball in 2021. Two and two. The 2-2 fouled back in a good cut. The 2-2, now time called.
And a John Gant moment.
I don't know if you saw this, I think it was yesterday. Rougned Odor of the Pirates, time was granted, pitch was delivered, and he hit a 3-run homer. That wasn't.
Oh, that's a bad day.
Yeah.
Think you're having a bad day, that's a bad day. Well, he was probably the guy that asked for time. It's his own fault.
3-2.
Can you say you didn't mean it?
Yeah. Well, I guess he figured I'm going to continue to go. He wasn't sure that it had been granted. Hits a bomb and all for naught. Runners off with this pitch. 2 outs. Runners at first and second. 3-2 on Tommy Edman. There go the runners, and the 3-2 is a high fly ball. Tsutsugo in left with the catch. Cardinals pick up an RBI single from Harrison Bader. 3-0 as we head to the ninth. The Budweiser player of the game. Today's starter for St. Louis, Adam Wainwright. Cardinals have dropped the first 2 in this series. So he goes out, gives you 8 scoreless, and a chance in his career, Ricky, to pick up his 20th win against the Pirates. Came in 19-7 all time against Pittsburgh.
Really a Cy Young Award year in his career against one club. And what's he done this year? 3 starts, 23 innings, only 10 hits allowed. And look at the whip. It's under .5. That means that no base runners ever. 1 walk, 24 punchouts. Really dominated this Pirate team, but you win 20 games against one team in the big leagues, and Alex Reyes will be in charge of making sure that happens for Adam Wainwright. If you win 20 games against one team, it means you're really good, and you've been really good for a long time.
Chevy called to the pen. Alex Reyes. Been a tough second half. 6 games against the Pirates this year, 6 saves and a 1.50 ERA. Right off the mask of the home plate umpire, Bruce Dreckman.
Whew. That's a bell ringer right there.
Chris Conroy out to check on Bruce Dreckman, the home plate umpire. He's been pretty good today, too, I think.
I think he has as well. I don't recall very many batters or pitchers complaining about pitches really in this series. Ooh. I cringe every time I hear that noise.
Yeah. Cardinals trying to go to 3 above 500, 63-60, 3 outs away. The 0-1 pitch, 1-1. Wonder how much thought, though, Mike Shield really honestly put into letting Waino go back out there for one more.
I'm sure he thought about it.
But if his mind had been made up, as Defoe pops this up. Arenado. First out here in the ninth.
I don't know if possibly his mind changed in the middle of the Gamble at bat too, which ended up being about a 7 or 8 pitch at bat. I think if he gets Gamble out on the first pitch, he goes back out for the ninth or second.
And then would his decision been made differently in that 8th inning with what transpired with the first 2 getting on base? So if the Cardinals go 1-2-3, do you send it back out there? But eventually his spot did come up with a chance to do some damage. And the man in front, which you'd have to assume then they walk to get to Wainwright. So you force him out of the game. Swinging on the first pitch, Arenado, part of a shift, over and out of play.
Of course, when you manage a team, you're taking into consideration everybody on your team, and that everybody includes Alex Reyes. I think he wanted to see Alex Reyes. I think maybe needed to see Alex Reyes, have him get out there in a safe situation and kind of do what he did the whole first half of the year. And you have an off day tomorrow, so no chance for any of the relievers to get work other than that 9th inning. I think maybe the competing interest of that may have come into play.
0-2 the count with 1 out and nobody on. Tsutsugo is 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Cardinals changing now with 2 strikes.
You're also thinking about Adams' next start.
I think the Pirates are sick of seeing him, but they're going to see him next weekend. So you have the off day, a couple of games here with Detroit, and then go back out on the road for 4 games against Pittsburgh, and Waino's going to get him again. Cardinals' next trip takes him through Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and then Milwaukee. Come home to face the Dodgers.
This is game 123, so going into play today, 40 games left for the Cardinals. If they go 27-13 in those games, they win the 89 games that you mentioned yesterday, which would be a nice number perhaps to be a second wild card.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strikeout for Reyes. 97 on the gun. Tsutsugo 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. And the final hope for Pittsburgh, Ke'Bryan Hayes.
Well, it hasn't been his best day in left field or at the plate. That is hard to catch up to. I don't care who you are.
Ke'Bryan Hayes. First pitch swinging, fouled away. Used to always question, when you're down late, why are you swinging?
Well,
take a strike, and Tony La Russa said it might be the best pitch you get with these guys that are so good.
It might be, but if you check the walk rate of Alex Reyes,
good point.
Might not be a bad idea.
Yeah. The 0-1. Pittsburgh, the only team in baseball without a sweep this season. Cardinals trying to make sure it stays that way. And there's a base hit to extend the ball game into right field by Hayes.
That hit looked familiar, didn't it?
Saw it last night, his second hit in this series. The one last night brought in 2.
Almost an identical approach to the backbreaker last night. A pitch inside out swing. Pirates not done yet.
Brian Reynolds hitless today, fly to right, struck out, then fly to center. 1 for 3 with a home run, pinch hitting the previous road trip against Alex Reyes. Into right, and that drops in for a hit. And now the tying run will come to the plate. Colin Moran, who has torched the Cardinals this year. He's hitless today. Struck out looking, grounded to second, grounded out to first, and some intrigue late.
I was hoping for a tension-free 9th inning, and I didn't get it. Anytime you get the tying run at the plate, it gets your attention.
Moran with 6 home runs this year. Shift on the right side and a high fly ball out to right. Nootbaar back. Oh, he caught it! Nootbaar saves the day. And the Cardinals win it 3-0. Up against the wall, Lars Nootbaar. Oh my goodness.
What a play by Nootbaar. I was concerned off the bat that that ball might carry out of here. I didn't think he had a chance to catch this ball. Here it is. Hit on the line, backing up is Newt Butler, and he makes that play up against the wall. Terrific ending to a terrific game, and another win for Adam Wainwright, and a save for Alex Reyes.
Win number 63. It wasn't easy. Smiles for the Cardinals, frustration for Colin Moran. Oh my, and the Cardinals hold on 3-0. They salvage a game in the series. Off day tomorrow. Miguel Cabrera and Detroit, they'll be in town on Tuesday. We send you now to the postgame show.